Fed Chairman Jerome Powell and the Open Market Committee didn't give President Trump the rate cut he's been clamoring for, but they did give him a pretty solid suggestion that one is on the way. Powell said growing uncertainty over trade and global growth had prompted the Fed to lose its policy of patience and instead adopt what you could call an easing bias, that is, if the expected weakness occurs.
While the baseline outlook remains favorable, the question is whether these uncertainties will continue to weigh on the outlook and thus call for additional monetary policy accommodation. Many FOMC participants now see that the case for somewhat more accommodative policy has strengthened.
8 Fed officials now forecast at least one cut this year, and 7 of them forecast 2. And Fed Chair Jay Powell said even those who aren't forecasting cuts, they're leaning that way. So what happened to the probabilities? We're going to show you them in a different way now. 100% now baking in a July rate cut. An 80% probability of 2 cuts or a second cut by September. 61% chance of a third cut by December. Now let's look at the calendar to the cut. Here are some key dates that we'll be looking at. That meeting of Trump, President Trump and Xi in Japan on June 28th, 29th. Possibility of new China tariffs or not, July 1. The June jobs report, July 5. And July 26, get the Q2 GDP report. That entry there is a proxy for all the other data you're going to get in the month of July. And there's the Fed meeting July 30, 31st with a kind of, they're going to cut unless there's unexpected strength. Powell also indicated the Fed could alter the plan to end the runoff of the balance sheet as soon as July instead of September, and that would provide even more stimulus. And this is important. He responded, I'd say, pretty favorably, without committing, to a question about some economic research that shows when you're close to the zero lower bound or the zero rates, it's best to do more and do it sooner rather than less. Translation, a lot of talk this morning, Becky, about a 50 basis point cut possibly in July.